Okay, hello, and welcome to the show. Okay, so I was in the car and I was getting some food, but it actually wasn't that unhealthy. Surprise, surprise. And I was thinking about, you know, kind of timelines of different relationships of various aspects in my life. So, one relationship might be family, the other relationship might be friends, the other relationship might be lovers, the other relationship might be business. And I was just thinking about different sectors of relationships that I've had. And just, kind of turning the wheels in my mind. And with that, I do remember a pattern that I didn't necessarily like. It was a pattern that it just downloaded to me. And the pattern was basically like premeditating doing somebody in or fucking somebody over. I personally have had that experience with people in my past, but I didn't pick up on it. I've never connected the dots or connected the link. And then at one point in my life, I started picking up the same behavior. So I can talk about it from the person who's received it, and I can talk about it from the person who's actually thought about it as well. And I look at it from this perspective. It's a defense mechanism. I'm not giving, any kind of empathy or throwing out sympathy to anyone who's actively practicing that, because you need to understand maybe you're doing it and it's unconscious and you're not aware of it, but hopefully after this you will be a little bit more aware of maybe if you're partaking in this. But I've had people who they already knew how they was going to go about treating me because they felt like it was going to protect them from getting hurt. They felt like if they treated me bad enough, it would like knock me down a notch, or it would make me cling to them more. And it's like, that's not who I am. Um, that's not who I am. Like, I'm the type of person, I give love and I give respect. So I want that in return. And I would admit, I've been in situations where I've stayed in it a little too long. And it was just like, it was on bullshit. It was just like, I wanted to see the change, and I wanted to believe that there was change that was happening in my other person's life, but it just wasn't. It's just like nothing was working, nothing was changing. It was just like, it was futile. And so I noticed that not just in one person, but in several partners in the past, it was always a premeditated thing. Like, I'm going to get you before you get me. I'm going to hurt you before you hurt me, type thing. And I never understood that because I never came with like aggression or unfair treatment. So I never understood that. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. Everybody got their hangups, everybody has their qualms. But what I'm saying is, you have to understand there's a certain level of hurt and toxicity that you operating in if you make up in your mind before you're even allowing yourself to have an actual connection with this person, that I'm going to hurt this person or screw this person over or be severely inconsiderate of this person's feelings, emotions, mindset. And I'm going to get it out the way because I like this person or I love this person so much that if they ever were to break my heart, it would sting less. I've experienced that and I've done that. Real talk. I've experienced that and I've done that. When you've gone through so much with people that you don't expect nothing out of nobody, that's how you operate. You will operate out of, I know it's some bullshit. I know it's going to be some bullshit. I don't expect nothing less than bullshit. But you have to understand, when you act like that, you can talk a good game, you can walk a good game. But when you act like that, I can say I'm love and light all day, but actions speak louder than words. That's why when a lot of people try to be derogatory and throw out the karmic word towards me, I transmute it and I say, we all have karmic phases. We have a light side and a dark side. We have to. But that doesn't mean that we all dwell in the land of being karmic. There are divine beings who had to be birthed through divinity out of a karmic phase. Sometimes you have to be a karmic before you are a divine masculine or a divine feminine or whatever you identify yourself as. Doesn't matter. Every divine individual has a karmic side, and every karmic individual has a side of divinity. Some just choose to tap into other sides more than others. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day and at the beginning of the sentence, rejection, abandonment, mistrust, all of those type of wounds will kick in that type of behavior. I'ma get you before you get me. And I think that's why a lot of today's dating scene or a lot of today's relationships, here, I can only speak for here in the States, they tend to be more on the superficial side because we're not really addressing the elephant in the room. And the real elephant is, I've gone through so much with so many people that I just want the experience of love. But I don't want the actual work that it takes to be in love. And I don't want the actual responsibility of having to say, I'm in love. I'm in love so much that there's certain things that I'm not going to engage in or do because I don't want it to betray my love. I'm in love so much that there's certain things about me that I have to change because the way I am right now, I don't want to be toxic and taint the love that I have. I think people look at that and they get scared because it's hard for people to do shadow work, but it's even harder to make people come into the consciousness of that's something that's lifelong. People like the experience of love, but they don't like the responsibility of it. And the responsibility of it is being able to go through hard things and hard times and wait it out or really try to work on it or make tough decisions in, whether it's working or not. But when it all comes down to it, it's all fear-based. A lot of people are afraid. We're afraid of getting hurt. We're afraid of getting set up. We're afraid of falling for the okie doke because we done been there. Sometimes it only takes one time for somebody to break your heart, and then after that, you'll never trust nobody again. And I would say that is toxic, but to each its own. For some people, that's survival. So I can't say nothing about it, For some people, that's survival. When I look at it from my perspective, it was exactly like how I said it was. Well, it was actually, for me, it wasn't exactly like I like you so much that I'm going to hurt you. It was, I've been hurt so many times. I've been done wrong so many times to people who I didn't, in a relationship to people who I didn't understand why they were doing what they were doing. It didn't make sense to me. But I've gone through so much that I don't have trust. So just in case you decide to try to stick me like how somebody else did, I got something loading in the background. And I looked at that, and immediately in my head I said ego. But that's a negative aspect of my ego, because the ego is not terrible. I don't believe. I believe you need some ego, but you shouldn't be ruled by your ego. And I looked at that and I said ego, because why can't you just not necessarily let all your defenses down to the point where you don't have discernment, but why can't you open your heart? There it is. It's not about letting your defenses down. It's about opening your heart. You can have an open heart and still have certain rules that you abide by just for yourself. You know, you don't have to be just completely folly when it comes to matters of the heart. I had to learn, like, I can open my heart and still, have certain boundaries, or still, beliefs, still have certain boundaries, or still understand, when my discernment's kicking in. But I can open up my heart instead of anticipating something wrong going on. Why don't we just anticipate the right thing going on? We have belief and faith for everything else. Why can't we have faith for our love lives? And I think that the problem is people are not taking it seriously enough. Like I said, the experience of love, but not the responsibility. Love is work. It's real work. It's energetic work. You got to choose not to have that argument. You got to choose not to engage in that behavior when you know it's going to make your significant other feel some type of way. You have to choose to submit to one another. You have to choose love. And a lot of people, it's hard. It's hard to make that compromise, because sometimes you've built so much of yourself up. Sometimes you've built up so much of who you are. It's like, I'm not going to come in here and let nobody tear nothing down or do that. And I respect that. You're not supposed to let nobody come in and tear down everything that you've built. But other times it's like, sometimes we manifest things, and it's like we manifest things that don't need to be manifested. We're too focused on what could go wrong instead of being focused on what could go right. Because we've seen wrong happen so many times in the real world. But if we really look back at it, was it, and in certain circumstances, like if there was something that somebody who wronged you, while you were juvenile, that's different. But as an adult, can we honestly say that some of the choices that we've made in the past where people have wronged us, we knew that they were going to wrong us, or we knew that we knew whatever it wasn't going to be long, but we did it because we wanted the thrill, the experience of it, but we knew deep down like it wasn't going to be anything. Sometimes it be like that. And sometimes we just be so lonely that we'll take that, knowing that it's not something that we need, or knowing that that's somebody that is not gonna necessarily coincide with the frequency that you're on or giving out at the moment. Like, you a vibe, but I need something a little more high vibrational. We've all done it. We've all been the high vibrational person who wanted some low vibrational energy. It's life. Yeah. We've all been there. We've all been that high vibrational person who said, you know what? I need some low energy right now. I need a low vibe. I need a low vibe. I need a low vibe. I can get high for the both of us. Right now, I need a low vibe. It happens. And it's okay because it's a part of life. It's an experience. And it's an experience that we had to have and had to go through. So that we can learn the lesson of this is what low vibe is. Before, after. And if you smart, you're going to know I'm not going to give in to those impulses or those. I'm not going to indulge in that anymore. I've learned my lesson. It was fun while it lasted. I say all of that to say this. Sometimes prior to healing or prior to any kind of spiritual awakening or consciousness, you're going to be a repeat offender. Different body, different skin, different suit, different name, different everything, but same spirit, same soul. You're picking up on somebody who has the same soul. You have this, like, the same type of people. You gotta love yourself so much that when you detect somebody who's not going to love you in the way that you need, you immediately dismiss yourself from the table. Like, I invited you, it was cool, it was love, but I'm so healed right now, I can't even do that. I can't even do that. I need a, like, you got to get to the point where you're like, hey, I need a high vibe. Mindset got to click. Mindset got to change. I need a high vibe. But yeah, if we admit it to ourselves and stop trying to fuck people over before they fuck us over, we could really talk about it and be like, yeah, how many people have done that? And in the end, it really wasn't all like that. And that shit, it was, you made it a fluke. It really wasn't even like that. You panicked. You did some shit. It happens. It happens. You gotta talk to yourself. A lot of people make fun of me because I talk to myself. If you talk to yourself, I guarantee you'll stop talking yourself out of some crazy shit. Talk to yourself. Don't always just get faded and make a decision and do this and that, or, make a decision while you upset and in fear. No, slow down, sit down. If you got to go take off your clothes and sit in a cold shower, talk to yourself out loud, because some of y'all need to hear what the fuck is you thinking between your two ears, because some people have been making decisions out here in these streets that they playing the wrong game. They not playing the strong game or the long game. And I just think to myself out loud, what if they just fucking talk to themselves out loud so that they could really hear what the fuck they was thinking?